The next topic that we will be dealing with is direct filling gold. Direct filling gold. Okay. Now, prior to the discovery of amalgam, gold was a very common restorative material which was used. It was used ever since the 1400s. Okay, now it was first said to be found in restorative existence in 1425 by an Italian professor from the University of Bologna called Giovanni Arcolani. Now, this these European masters used it since a very long time, but this is the first recorded use of it. It was used prior by Egyptians and Aryans and all these people as a method of showing off their wealth. Right now also it is used for showing off wealth. So after Giovanni Arcolani published it in his work in Italy, the credit for using it in dental field comes in 1766 by the name of a person called Robert Woofendale. Robert Woofendale was an American professor who proponent to the act of gold-filled restoration. It was first prevalent all over in England, and this later prevailed to all parts of the globe. Now, why was gold in such demand? Gold was in such demand primarily for people to show off their wealth, but it was also in demand for in the dental circuit because gold is a noble metal, meaning it does not react with anything. Now, in the previous sessions, in all the restorative materials, we dealt with something called the formation of an oxide layer and a smear layer, right? In gold, this was not a problem. In gold, there was no oxide layer, which meant that there is no tarnish that is going to happen. Therefore, the luster, the shine would be almost permanent. Now, gold in its pure form is extremely soft with a Brinell hardness number of approximately 25. It is malleable and greatly ductile, but it had very important property, and this property was called cold welding. Cold welding. Now, what do you mean by cold welding? It is a unique characteristic of gold where you take one sheet of gold and you put another sheet of gold over it and pressurize it without heating. It will join together to form a complete element. If you have to weld normal stainless steel or normal titanium wires, you have to use something called a spot welder, and that means raising the temperature to about 2000 degrees Celsius, fusing the metal together. But gold didn't need that. Gold could be hammered, gold could be shaped, gold could be pressed, and you would get an additional substrate. Therefore, it was very easy for people to work with. Dental people refer to gold as direct filling gold because you could just take the gold and directly fill it into a cavity. Therefore, it was very useful. In previous scenarios, gold used to be used extensively, but ever since the definition of aesthetics changed to tooth colored fillings, composites have taken the show. Now, unless you're a rapper, or unless you're a sports person, or unless you're someone who likes to show off a lot of gold, we don't use gold colored restoration. So now these restorations are patient demand specific only, right? So where do you apply gold currently? What is the application of DFGs or direct filling gold? You can see it in pits and small class 1 cavity. Pits and small class 1 cavity. The second is for repair of casting margin. The repair of casting margin. Sometimes you can use it for class 2, class 3, class 5, class 6 cavities. Not now, but definitely there is a use. And you can repair cement holes. You can repair cement vent hole and perforations or perforations that are present inside gold crowns. Suppose you gave someone a gold crown and there is a perforation. All you can do is take a spare piece of gold, fix it over there, apply pressure, and polish the surface. It is back to normal. Therefore, the ease of use of gold foil was extremely high. The only problem is its troublesome aesthetics. Unless you like to show off, Gold is not an option right now in dental operatories. Now, what are the contraindications? For gold, you need substantial amount of tooth to be cut. Therefore, if there is a tooth with a large pulp chamber, you risk tooth exposure. Therefore, in patients with large pulp fonts and large pulpal housing, you cannot use gold restorations. Secondly, you cannot use it in perio-compromised patients because it does not act like a splint. It will counterproduct. It is counterproductive to that. The next one, handicapped patients who cannot sit still for a large period of time, you cannot use it because it is a very troublesome material to make them use. Finally, you cannot use in brittle teeth. When do you get brittle condition? Root canal treated teeth. You are making the teeth purposely weak at that point of time. Therefore, in brittle teeth, you cannot sit and modify those crowns to suit it. Therefore, you cannot use it in root canal treated or endodontically treated teeth. Now, what are the different types of gold materials that are found? You can have it as the foil type. You can have it as an electrolytic precipitate, and you can also find it as a granulated gold, exactly like how you find in your coffee, granulated gold. So foil type is a fibrous type of gold. Foil type is a fibrous type of gold, and it is available in various formats such as sheets, ropes, cylinders, laminates, yeah, and it can even be platinized, platinum infused, platinized. Now, sheets are of two types, and this is the most commonly used. You have cohesive sheets and non-cohesive sheets. So this is the matte gold or the foil gold or the fibrous gold. Electrolytic precipitate is basically nothing but crystalline gold, and this is called matte gold, not matte gold. You are also available as matte foil. You can press these precipitated golds together to form a foil, and you can bond it with calcium to form an alloy. Au is the symbol for gold, so AuCa alloy. So gold calcium alloy. And finally, you have granulated gold, which is basically nothing but an encapsulated powder. It is gold powder which is mixed in which is covered by a capsule. Now, what is the composition? Like like normal gold ornaments, etc., gold should be 99.99% pure, 24 karat gold. If it is not 24 karat gold, the only allowances are platinized golds or gold that is mixed with calcium, right? Otherwise, pure gold, 99.99% 24 karat gold needs to be used for restorative purposes. So how are you going to manufacture it? Manufacture. So here you know that gold is malleable, correct? You can beat it into sheets. So what happened? You have taken a big block of gold like you get in if you've seen in movies those big blocks, big biscuits of gold. You can take it, and the block thickness must be about 15 millimeter, and this is called a gold ingot. So you have taken a gold ingot which is approximately 15 millimeter, 1.5 centimeter long gold, yeah, with a microscopic thickness of about 15 micron to 20 micron. So the crystal size is approximately 15 micron to 20 micron. This thing is called a gold foil. When you beat it down with a hammer, you are going to beat it down so that the crystal size resembles 15 micron to 25 micron. You call that a gold foil. Now, these crystals, what are there? If it was a rounded crystals, now it is beaten down and become flat and elongated. So you are going to see flat elongated crystals. You're going to see flat elongated crystals, and because it resembles flat elongated crystals, it looks like a fiber. Therefore, it is called fibrous gold. Okay, fibrous gold. So you took a ingot of 1.5 centimeters or 15 millimeters, and this is beaten down to until the crystal size is 15 to 25 microns, and it resembles fibers, therefore called fibrous gold. And because it is a sheet, it is a gold foil, and because many fibers together make up a mat, it can also be called matte gold. Now, how are they supplied? They are supplied like books. Okay, so like you have articulating paper. If you have seen articulating paper, it is available as a book. You open the book, there are several gold foil sheets. Okay, now there will be 12 sheets inside this book. So it is available as flat square sheet. Yes, flat square sheet in the form of a book. And you have 12 sheets in one book. 12 sheets in one book. And the size is 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter. So you have a sheet which is 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter. You have 12 numbers, and that makes a book. And this is also known by the grain size, the crystal grain size. So you have number 3 and number 4, which means what? In number 3 you have 3 grains, in number 4 you have 4 grains, which makes it 0.3 micron thick and 0.5 micron thick. Okay, which makes in grams it is 0.19 gram, and this is 0.25 gram. 0.19 gram and 0.25 gram. It is not even 1 gram of gold, right? But it is still significantly going to become expensive. The number will denote the weight of the gold. For example, if I say number 20, it means 20 grams of gold is present in that coin. If I say 40, it means number 40 is present. Number 3 is used to manufacture electrolytic and matte gold. Then you have preformed cylinders. You have preformed cylinders. Okay, so what you do, you're going to take a number 4 sheet. Okay, you have a sheet, you are going to roll it, and when you roll it you get a preformed cylinder, right? You can make it either a pellet or a cylinder. Here you can add carbon and you get carbonized gold, but it's not used anywhere. Then a number of sheet can be placed one above the other. Yes, you take a sheet and now you place one above the other. When you do this, you get laminated gold. When you place one sheet above the other, you get laminated gold. Now, if you put platinum in between this, you have layers of platinum like a sandwich. That is called platinized gold. Platinized gold. So we know that gold, you have flat sheets of gold, which is 10 by 10 centimeters, 12 sheets to one book. Number 3 grains and number 4. So 3 grains and 4 grains, which is 0.3, 0.5 microns each, 0.19 gram and 0.25 gram each. These sheets you can take and roll it to form a preformed cylinder. You can compress that cylinder to form a preformed pellet. These are basically with number 4 sheets. Then you can take these sheets and layer them one on top of the other. These are called laminated sheets. Now, if you have a platinum sheet, you can take gold, put the platinum, then put another gold, then put another platinum. On that, you have another gold. This is called a platinum laminated sheet or platinized gold sheet, right? Now, if you are putting carbon in between it, it is called carbonized sheet or corrugated gold. What you do is that you take preformed gold and make it in the form of a long cylinder by rolling it. And why is it important? It is because the gold becomes harder. The gold becomes harder by adding carbonized. What exactly happened is there was a fire in Chicago in 1871. It is called the Great Chicago Fire. right? It was in a gold factory. So the gold melted and the gold later had the carbon soot that is present in it mixed up. And this carbonized gold became extremely hard, right? Therefore, this material had superior amount of strength. So corrugated gold or carbon gold has superior amount of strength. Now, the next one is the cohesive and the non-cohesive gold. Cohesive and non-cohesive gold. So cohesive gold is basically nothing but sticky gold. Cohesive gold is called sticky gold. Now, sticky gold was discovered by someone called Dr. Robert Arthur, who gave cohesive gold its name. So basically, what did he say? If a gold foil is free of impurities, you can press them together and you can cold weld them together. Now, cold gold will attract gases, right? Therefore, oxygen on the surface will prevent its cohesion. That will make it non-cohesive gold. Therefore, any gold which can be compacted without the effect of gases is called cohesive gold. Example is something called Jensen gold foil. Jensen gold foil. Therefore, any gold structure which prevents the action of oxygen to form an oxide layer which prevents its cohesion is called a cohesive gold foil. The non-cohesive foil is directly opposite. If it had taken gases in the atmosphere such as oxygen and ammonia, if it is treated with oxygen and ammonia, which does not allow the gold foil to stick, in that condition you call it a non-cohesive foil, meaning no ammonia. If this is a gold sheet, you have ammonia, and ammonia is adsorbed, not absorbed. Adsorption is only at the surface. If you have ammonia adsorbed on the gold surface, it prevents gold from adhering on top of each other. It protects the surface of gold from the surface of the gold from contamination, and it can enable to handle gold with little more ease. The best case example is on the if you have seen sweets, you have seen silver foil and gold foil put on top of that. The gold appears golden in color, and uh, the sweet does not get destroyed because the gold protects the oxygen and the ammonia from the air into contacting this sweet. Therefore, it does not turn bad. Similarly, the underlying surface of the gold is protected by the layer of ammonia. Therefore, the gold does not tarnish or corrode. What is the disadvantage? It does not stick to each other. Therefore, you cannot use to build it up inside the cavity. Therefore, which gold will you use in cavities? You will use cohesive gold, right? Which is Jensen foil. The next one is called electrolytic precipitate. Electrolytic precipitate. Now, what is this? You are going to use a atomizer. Now, what is an atomizer? The best way to tell you what an atomizer is: perfume bottles. When you press the perfume bottles, very small drops of perfumes come, right? Droplets of perfume. Like that, you are going to have gold which is melted, and like this perfume bottles, you will have minute drops of gold that is formed. Now these minute drops of gold, when it solidifies, becomes a powder. Therefore, electrolytic precipitate is nothing but powdered gold. These particles can now be coalesced or heated, sintered or heated to join and form another type of gold. This is called electrolytically precipitated gold. They are available as matte foil, and alloyed. Now, what is matte gold? When gold is electrolytically precipitated, gold is electrolytically precipitated and they are going to coalesce, right? So that is one quality of gold. Now, you are going to take the previous gold foil, which I taught you earlier, the cohesive and the non-cohesive sheets, right? You are going to take the gold foil and then you are going to layer it with the precipitated gold, and then you're going to add another gold foil and make a sort of sandwich of matte gold and gold foil. When you do this, this is called matte gold. You have gold foil with precipitated gold in a sandwich. So when matte gold is electrolytically precipitated and sandwiched between sheets of gold foil, and then they are cut into strips, and then they are cut into strips, and they can be used by the dentist accordingly. This is matte gold. What is matte foil? It is a sandwich of this precipitated gold foil with specifically number 3 gold foil. Now if you take matte foil, that is number 3. So this precipitate over here, this is number 3, number 3 gold foil. Here it can be number 4 gold foil or anything greater than that. But when you have specifically number 3 gold foil, that is called matte foil. The dentist can also now accordingly cut it into specific required shapes and fill the cavities accordingly. The last one is alloyed precipitates. You can alloy it with calcium, right? So an electrolytic alloy of gold gold and 0.1% calcium. Gold and 0.1% calcium. This is called electralloy, right? Now, what does calcium do? Calcium increases strength, yeah, and this is called dispersion strengthening. Dispersion strengthening. Okay, now this makes the structure more crystalline, therefore it makes it harder and stronger. It makes it harder and stronger. Then you have powdered gold. Powdered gold is basically precipitated gold simply. Okay, what he did was he took chemical precipitation by atomizing the metal. You atomize the metal as usual and then they compressed it to form pellets. So pellet based gold with a diameter of 1 to 2 millimeter with a ratio of gold foil between 1 to 3 grains. This is what you call powdered or granulated gold. Now, how do you manipulate DFG? How do you manipulate DFG? There are 3 basic steps. The first step is called desorbing. The second step is called compaction. And the third step is called finishing. So, DCF. Desorbing, compaction, and finishing. Now, what is desorbing? Desorbing has 2 names which you have heard and you may be confused with other metals. Desorbing is also called degassing or annealing. So instead of desorbing, I am now going to use the term degassing and annealing. Yeah, annealing. Now, what are they? Direct filling gold is basically a cohesive element. Are we sure about that? Yes. Direct filling gold is obtained in the cohesive condition, except in the case of non-cohesive gold. If it is non-cohesive, it is not adhesive. Therefore, during storage and packing, what will happen? If it is a cohesive gold, it is going to absorb gases from the atmosphere, gases such as oxygen and ammonia, and adsorbed gases will prevent it from fusing. So if I have a gold foil and it is a cohesive gold foil, it will absorb gases from the atmosphere and form a layer on top of this gold which will prevent it from cohesion later. It will prevent the gold from fusing. Therefore, what is necessary? It is an oxide. I can just heat it. If I heat it, this layer will suddenly vanish. When I heat it, the layer will suddenly vanish and I will get a pure surface of gold again, which I can use in cohesive matter when I am filling a cavity. Now, how do I degas? I can degas it either on a gas flame or I can use it on an alcohol flame piece by piece. If I have to use gold pieces, I can use it on an alcohol flame using your alcohol torches. And if it is a normal foil, I can degas it on a normal Bunsen burner or whatever burner you have at home. But you should be very, very careful because excessive amounts should be avoided. Why? It will get carbonized and will become harder. And also, repeated heating will spoil up the gold, the characteristics of gold. Therefore, it is going to be very difficult. In order to prevent this, we now decided to go for electric annealing. By using electricity to heat up something, we now could solve the problems that were formed by a flame. What is an electric annealing? Electric annealer is nothing but a heating plate. It is a heating plate, and the annealer is maintained somewhere between 340 to 370 degree Celsius. And when you keep it for about 5 to 20 minutes, whatever gold is having an absorbed layer of gas, that will become desorbed. Now, what will happen if you put it excess or little time? The pellets can stick together, right, when the tray is moved. If there is air, there will be a variation in temperature. Therefore, uniformity of annealing will not be guaranteed. It is difficult to get appropriate amounts of gold because sometimes it can stick to the metal plate of the annealing tray, and sometimes it can be over sintered. There can be greater contamination, and size selection of the materials is very decreased. There are so many disadvantages to an electric annealer, which is why anybody who has used gold prefers the flame desorption. Now, after you flame desorb or electric anneal, you are going to get a component of gold. You are now going to compact it. How can you compact it? Either by using a hammer called a mallet. It's called a hand mallet. So you can either use hand mallet. Hand mallet can be used for compaction, or you can use air related pneumatic vibratory condensers. Pneumatic vibratory condensers, or electrically driven condensers. Electrically driven condensers. Okay, now what is a mallet? It is a small hammer. You are going to take gold pieces, you can cut it according to shape, you can put it down, and you can just hammer it into position. Therefore, how do you do a hammering sort of thing? You have, suppose this is your cavity, you are having a gold foil that you have placed, right? This is normally how you would place a gold material inside the cavity. You cannot do this. You have to step up. This is the primary thing. Whenever you do a gold filling, you have to do a stepping up. You have to do a stepping up. Meaning what? When I do the next filling of gold, the portion will be surrounded inside this, and then I have to make another step. So I have to step it up. Step filling of gold. So I have to step by step or ramp by ramp, I have to make it up. This permits each surface to be compacted over the entire area of the gold filling. So this is there. The next thing is condenser. Condenser is much more easy. You can take it and you can push it into it and step it up accordingly. Finally, you can finish it with the help of ball burnishers. The advantages of gold is that it is aesthetic because of its high luster capacity, it is tarnish and corrosion resistant, it has good mechanical properties, and it has excellent biocompatibility. The disadvantage is that it is non-aesthetic because of the yellow color of the gold. It is not tooth colored. It has high coefficient of thermal expansion, which means if you drink tea or coffee, it is going to expand and contract in your mouth. Thereby, there will be a problem with the cementation. It will break off and come easily. There is a problem of temperature sensitivity. Therefore, base And then manipulating this is very technical challenging. Most importantly, electric or galvanic corrosion can also occur, which means that if you accidentally touch your mouth with a battery, or if you have a shock, you will have the time of your life when you have a gold alloy in your mouth. Now, this is the entire gold thing about direct filling gold. The most important questions that can be asked you will be, what is degassing or annealing? You will have to explain cohesive and non-cohesive gold. Also, they will ask you about the stepping up procedure or ramping up procedure. Please explain that with appropriate diagrams. The most important thing is the classification. So please make sure you know about the foils, the type of foils, the grain size, what is electroalloy, what are they used to bond with calcium, what is carbonized or corrugated gold, also what is precipitated gold, matte foil, all of these components. DFG is a pretty straightforward topic, and these are the only questions that they can be asked. We will see each other in the next topic. Thank you.